Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Kaye here on my homestead in Tennessee. It's a chilly morning. It's about 34 degrees right now. We had a light frost. You know, we do these from time to time, so take a moment to pause the video and go get your mug and let's talk. Well, I wanted to talk to you about something that really hit me recently. And I do want to mention that, but more importantly, I want to give a shout out to a great friend of the channel, Gina. When I first looked at my phone this morning, she had sent me a video that she saw yesterday. Let's see, today would be the 16th, so this was filed yesterday. And I want to point it out, I haven't spoken out loud yet today. You know, you live alone, you don't have anybody to yell at, you know. Warm up your voice. Oh, that reminds me of a story. Remember, great actress, fell in love with Humphrey Bogart, Lauren Bacall. Okay. This was a story I heard, decades ago, that, to develop that, of course, everybody smoked back then, everybody, But anyway, in addition to that, she went out to well, in LA, you have this mountain that separates where most of the studios are from Hollywood, this mountain range. So I don't know where she went out and yelled, but she would go out and just yell till she was hoarse. And this she did over time, and she eventually found this really deep voice that was very seductive. Anyway, okay, enough about that. We're going to talk about today this video. I had not ever seen Bear Independent channel. This is the president of Grindstone Ministries. He's been working, he's also a pastor in Oklahoma, and he has run disaster relief for 19 years. He's been working in that, and in particular 5 years with this particular outfit that he has formed at this point of the recovery of what's happened in western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. Now it's in the recovery phase, and they're delivering. They're like the Amazon for mountain people. You really need to hear the boots on the ground, because we've seen a lot of social media that you get this certain picture of what's been going on over there, but you don't really know. His outfit has been there, well, in East Tennessee since 26 hours after the flood. It's very impressive what they're doing. I was blown away. So I want you to check that out, but he's got some opinions about what's really going down over there. But the most striking piece of information that I want to relay is the fact that the water and the ground is toxic, and the air is toxic where in these flood areas. And people are rushing to rebuild, pull out insulation, mop up mud and floors, and get back to cleaning up and putting their house back together. And he's going, some of these houses should be condemned. Some of these houses should be condemned because of the toxic nature in the water. So this all relates to, the mineral-rich deposits that are in the ground over there, the silica, quartz, lithium, and other things. And so what are we, 15 days after the initial disaster? So he's got some firsthand experiences. I really want you to check that out. Please click on that link. Tell him that I sent you, because my friend Gina had this link for me, and she said she watched it because Billy at Perma Pastures Farm channel had mentioned it. And in here he's mentioning Wranglestar, who I also follow, great survivalist, big channel. And he was down there meeting with him and helping out. And so many people have helped out. Wranglestar came from a lot farther away than me. I've been sitting here 4 or 5 hours away and just wanting to help. This sort of, in the technology connection from this to what I wanted to talk about was, I don't know if you've seen recently, but Elon Musk, one of the main things that, gosh, he's working on so many things, but one of the things he's working on is robots. And there is a factory in Texas that's supposedly the largest factory in the country or something. And I've heard an inside report that they're working 12 hours a day, cranking out, trying to crank out these robots. And so he made an announcement the other day, which went viral, and you may have you may have seen it. Sorry. Oh, I really have to do like Lauren Bacall and go out and like yell for a while before I make my first video. She's a great actress, by the way. So was he. But anyway, Bogart. But did you know he was short and he actually stood on a, when they would do his close-ups, he would be standing on a, it's just an inside tip there. But Elon made this announcement about the robots and how he sees it as going to be the biggest thing, biggest product, he called it a product, biggest product that's ever come to market in our life, in our existence. And, I would beg to differ that this has been the biggest development and that's changed our world. He said you will be able to buy one, and I don't know how he can throw out numbers of any kind since the dollar is falling and the BRICS nations are signing, their deal on the 22nd, 3rd, and 4th. The majority of the world is going on to a different, not the petrodollar, which has kept our dollar stable. I know I'm jumping around. Sorry, I do that. That's my mind. But Elon was saying that you can buy a robot for $20,000 to $30,000, and everyone is going to want one. Why? Because they can do anything for you. They can clean your house, they can watch your children, walk your dogs, and he said, quote, be your friend, unquote. What? I don't want a machine to be my friend. I don't know, the older you get, the more you just want the old things and the real things and real things that people have made, not this plastic that is churned out in a factory halfway around the world or all the way around the world. No. Anyway, I had previously seen this video. It was a short video, and it was one of these robots in the garden. Now this thing is, the exterior is plastic, I guess, or fiberglass or plastic. The chest, they have to make it kind of look like a human. So, but it looks like Star Wars too, it's just white and black. The joints are black, and then the white panels over the thighs and the chest and the head. And so you have this white and black machine that's going to be your friend, who's going to garden with you, and that's going to be an enriching experience. Yes, the work will get done faster. Yes, the robot never gets tired. What powers the robot? Now, I was a big Star Trek fan, so the Borg, remember the Borg? Of course, they were human actors acting like they were robots because they had to plug in at night. They didn't need to lay down, they just stood in their little thingy and, sort of like my distiller, you push it into the electric thing and it has power. And they would stand in their little cubicles at night, rows of them, the Borg, the collective, remember? Oh, and we just thought at the time, this is so far-fetched. This is such an amazing science fiction story. And it's just like, okay, it's all coming true. And the technology was probably already there when they made the series way back then. They just haven't introduced it to us yet. So anyway, this video of this robot in the garden was, harvesting and planting and boom, 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 boom. And I thought, oh, that would be so much fun to garden with. That thing that you've got to plug in at night. It just made me think, because this past, let's see, today's Wednesday. So yesterday and 3 days last week, my friend Randy, who was instrumental in 22 and 23, me being able to have a huge garden. He grew up farming with his grandfather and father, so his father died early on, but his grandfather literally lived to 99. I believe his house burned up, and he was in it, so what a great send-off. I mean, he was gardening until practically the day he died, and that would be just so awesome. But anyway, I hadn't seen Randy all season because I had this young helper. Well, once that young helper went back to school, that was it. He's been here one day for 10 hours. I knew I had to reach back out to Randy and see if he could help me get these things wrapped up. So the way I'm feeling right now is that, you know how you're supposed to let the garden rest every 7 years? And I saw that really big channel, what's her name? She was saying that they were letting their garden rest for the 7th year. Well, I've had 4, but I'm seriously considering letting the big garden rest next year. My only concern is, what do I do about preserving the garden so that when I return to it the following year, if I do, it's not just a bunch of weeds. That whole 5,000 square feet is not a bunch of weeds. So it was just so nice, and it was very nice with the young helper as well, just working quietly in the garden. Just in terms of the young man, it was his first experience. I had him plant his very first seeds. He had never planted seeds. He was 16 and he had never planted seeds. Hard worker. Had worked for lawn companies and things in the summer, so he had all that experience, but no growing food experience whatsoever. So for him, it was a teaching experience. And I kept saying, Chase, you really need to contact, he's homeschooled, so I said, you really need to contact your advisor and get some college credit for this, because you're learning so much. But he never got around to it, so that didn't happen. But in terms of Randy, it's like, it's great having him around because he's got good advice. I had a tiny little garden, a lot of it in containers in my California garden, which represents 8 years of my videos on my channel. If you're new here, I now live on 9.1, a little over 9 acres. About 50 to 55% is wooded, and the rest is cleared, some of which I cleared so that I could have more garden space. But my focus has always been, and still is, to inspire anyone to grow their own food. Now, when you're growing your own food, you are thinking about food security. You are thinking about prepping. And when you're growing your own food, you are thinking about food preservation. And you are thinking about cooking. So I cover all of those things, and if you're new here, I hope you will subscribe. I also, once in a while, sit down and have a chat to catch you up on things, and also just sharing my thoughts and experiences. So I hope you'll subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell for notifications, scroll down and click all, so you won't miss an episode. Okay, so about the robot thing, it's like, I don't even want to live in that world where your friend is a machine. I want to talk to real people that have a connection to God. Machines will only be programmed with whatever the programmer has put into the machine, right? There will be rich people that will they'll all have one. But there's no way I want to garden with one, even though they never run out of energy and they could work all night. You could just say, okay, keep working through the night, but it all comes back to if you do have to plug them in, and I'm assuming they recharge with electricity, and they probably have, I don't know, maybe they have a lithium battery in there, and you've heard about all the problems with lithium batteries, not only from don't keep an e-bike in your house because they have a tendency to combust. You've seen those, right? House burns down because the e-bike, you know, I saw this Ring camera one, and the e-bike was just parked there, and it just combusted, burned the house down. So I saw another one where a guy was walking out with his battery. I guess you take it in to charge it at night, and then you take it back out to put it into your bike. And he was literally in the elevator, and it was in his hand, and it combusted. You need to be aware of all that before you. In fact, you know, as channel owners, we get all of these people wanting us to promote their products. They never want to pay you, but but they'll send you a product to try or whatever. There was one that wanted me to promote the e-bikes, and I'm going, do you realize what that says? I mean, an e-bike requires a lithium battery, and, you know, only recently have we learned that we have rare earth minerals in our country. I mean, everything I read up until a year or two ago was all the rare earth minerals in the world are in Afghanistan and China. So if we want to do this whole technology, we've got to get all these things from these other countries far away. Suddenly now we hear there's lithium in our country, predominantly around the Asheville area of North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. So it's like, oh. And my friend informed me, I wasn't aware, that they're trying to open a lithium factory in Tennessee. And when I first heard about it, I thought, well, that's funny. They're going to bring all that lithium and cobalt and whatever that the 8 to 10-year-olds are digging out of the earth with their bare hands in Africa. They're going to bring all that up here and refine it in our state. Why? Why do we need all that? You know, we know there's never going to be enough, but it's this whole opportunity for companies to make a lot of money in, you know, the Green New Deal, the green energy thing, which is anything but green. And anyone who does just 5 minutes worth of research can see through that. But we're in a difficult place, my friends. And we're on the cusp of something huge happening next week. I don't know what the immediate impact will be, but if you have not yet heard about the BRICS nations, which surely, I mean, I mentioned it on my channel 2 years ago, so hopefully you have by now. I did a video in 22 talking about the BRICS nations. At that time, it was just, which is how they got the acronym, Brazil, India, China, South Africa, and Brazil. What did I say? Brazil, BRICS, B-R-I-C-S. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. That's where it started, those 5. And all these, and they're coming out with a digital currency that's going to be backed by gold. Now, there have been rumors that our gold mint in Kansas is not even there. We don't even know the state of our gold in this country, but all of those nations are saying, hey, we don't want the US dollar to be our stable currency. We want it because we want to be backed by gold when everything changes to digital, which I told you in 22 that this was going to happen, and it's definitely happening. Like 100 other nations have. Sri Lanka just signed on, or asked to sign on 2 days ago. Almost everybody in the world will be on this financial system, and we will still be on the US dollar, even though I don't know how it's going to work. We have to be prepared. Bear was talking about comms. If you don't have your, he said commo. I got confused. I just texted Gina, what does commo mean? I mean, I assumed it meant communications, but the way he said it, like camo, but commo. Anyway, communications. And he was talking about this one community in Tennessee, I believe it's in Tennessee, that had, they were completely isolated. The road was washed out. Between the 42 residents, they had one Baofeng 5-watt radio. And I heard that and I went, wait a minute. I bought a Baofeng 5-watt radio as part of my preps at least 2 years ago. And I'm going, where is that? Where is that radio? Like I recently did the test drive. I did the test drive of my new power station, Ecoflow. So the Ecoflow Delta 2 power station generator doesn't generate, but it holds power. You can come in and use it for 6-7 hours on various devices. So if you've got the funds and if you find a deal, I highly recommend getting one. And then you have to have either they sell their own dual fuel generator to put the power into the power station, or you can purchase solar panels. Their solar panels are going to cost more than if you get them at Harbor Freight. So shop around. But this is something that we need to be thinking about. Winter is coming. And there are people in North Carolina who are freezing. Okay, I did it again. I talked too long. Sorry about that. If you stuck with me till the end, God bless you. God bless you anyway. I hope you got something out of this, at least made you think about some things. You figure out if you're going to want a robot, just like you want a Bluetooth vacuum cleaner that vacuums while you're doing something else. I mean, that does actually sound like a great idea, right? Especially if you're on a one-floor house kind of thing. But every Bluetooth device, every Wi-Fi Bluetooth connection is more electric frequencies going into your space. Do you want more or do you want less? I want less. Bought a brand new HVAC for up here because my other one was full of mold, and when my son was here he was sneezing and runny nose the whole time he was here. So replaced all that. I asked him if he's putting in the same thermostat that he put in 4 years ago. They said yes, same one. Okay. We looked at it before he left. I remember standing there, it looked like it was working, and so I went away for a week, I guess. Came up yesterday, and it was cold up here. I don't know how cold, because the thermostat wasn't working. And the thermostat told me it couldn't tell me what the temperature was because, wait. So for some reason, it wanted the whole Wi-Fi to be set up. I didn't want a Wi-Fi on the thermostat. I want to walk up the stairs, set the temperature, and walk back downstairs. But anyway, people are so addicted to convenience today that they're going to get the latest phone, they're going to get the latest device, they're going to get the latest thing with the latest lithium battery in it. And the more lithium we take out of the ground, the more money the corporations are going to make. and the less healthy we'll all be in one way or another. So that's my thought for today. I hope it's helpful. I hope it made you think. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video. It's my stomach growling, by the way.